Dear audience, welcome to the show Power Chat. In today's episode, we'll be discussing about corporate and institutional development. Joining us today is Dr. Brian Leonard Williams, Chief Executive Officer at Tami World. He has been into the field of corporate communications and team building, facilitating hundreds of corporate companies and NGOs here in Nepal. Please allow me to welcome him. Welcome to the show, Dr. Williams.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pant.
How have you been?
I have been doing good, yes. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here and to be part of this lovely opportunity.
Well, you have been here in Nepal for almost 2 decades, 18 years.
Yes.
It's a long time, and you have been into the field of team building and institutional development.
That's right.
And it's a long time you are here. How do you assess the development and diversity of Nepal as such?
That's a very interesting question. When I came here 18 years ago, I knew nobody. I actually came on a honeymoon with my Nepali wife. So Reshma and myself, we sort of started at the grassroots level. And we started with a brother and a sister, and sort of taught them communication skills, and they went and brought another 8 people. And slowly God gave me a footprint into the English primary schools, secondary schools, and then into colleges and university, and then into the corporate world and the NGO world. One of the things that I found to be so exciting is Nepali people are hungry to learn, so that is easy for me to facilitate, because they love to learn new things. They have not been under colonial rule like other countries, so they don't have any baggage. So Nepali people are easy to be taught new things. And so I found that was the biggest joy for me to start off with, going down from the grassroots level and then going up to corporate companies and then NGOs. And so 18 years have a lot of experiences in the area of seeing Nepali people start from scratch and then go on to be movers and shakers, not just in Nepal, but they've gone abroad and done things over there too.
And what are the changes you have noticed here along these all years in relations to your work?
Yes. Well, when I came here 18 years ago, there was the Maoist insurgency. And so my wife would wish me good luck when I left. She would say, all the best. She didn't know I was going to come back home. But one of the things that I realized is that Nepali people have 3 things, and I call it the F3 principle. They're very good in friendship making. They're very good at food and hospitality. They're also very good at fashion, not just in clothes, but they have a certain style of presenting themselves and wanting to do things. So starting with that area, what I've seen is that lots of Nepali people have used that as a sort of, that's what they are. That's their DNA, so to speak. And they build from there. And I've seen, like, I'll give you an example. I train these 75 corporate companies. One of them is the biggest company. It's Sipradi, Tata it's called. In the cocktail dinner night, there's this amazing spread of food and drinks, and everybody from the VP down, everybody was there. And one of the senior managers stands up at the table and he says a toast to Dr. Williams. And he says, several years ago, I went to an MBA, and he was telling the HR director, which was a lady, he says, I think I need to throw my notes out because Brian has brought the latest MBA, principles and strategies and, case studies for us to do well. In my heart, I was chuckling because I actually did nothing. I just did a needs assessment with each manager, and I found out what was their DNA, what are areas they could improve in their weaknesses, their strengths. And I designed a course for Sipradi based on what the manager's needs were. And it was actually something that they felt is new because it was relevant to what they were going through, rather than me designing a course, that I learned in my doctoral studies, or something that I learned online, or went to some training in a foreign country in Switzerland or Denmark. But I felt like that was one of my biggest takeaways, to see Nepali people come alive when I focused on their DNA, what they are good at. I sort of brought that up.
It's really interesting that you are telling about the characteristics of Nepalese, those from the foods and fashions.
Yes.
And also hospitality.
Yes.
How do you observe the leadership and managerial skills of the institutions and corporate world of Nepal?
Right. Another example I want to give is Himalayan Distilleries, one of the biggest taxpayers in Nepal. What I found with them was, it's run by, the HR is run by two ladies, dynamic ladies. And what they did was, when they invited me for the training, they said, we get all these trainings from different people from other countries, good facilitators, very good, but they gave us the handouts in English, the projectors in English, but you teach in Nepali. Your instruction, your facilitation skills, your consulting with us is all in Nepali, 100% Nepali. Of course, broken Nepali, I call it Nepanglish, not really, English, not really Nepali. But what I found out was, those managers said that that was the best training they were ever part of, because I spoke their mother language. And I'm grateful. 18 years I'm married to a Nepali, so Reshma has taught me well. And sometimes we've learned through fight, good fight, not a bad fight. And slowly her English has improved, and my Nepali has improved. And that has helped me to bring more sustainable solutions for Nepali corporate companies, because I'm talking their heart language, and they can ask questions better. But I still do not provide them notes in Nepali. I do it all in English, because I want them to be global, not just local.
Well, that's a good sharing between husband and wife. What are the key issues that one needs to consider while, incorporating leadership and managerial skill into institutions or organizations?
Right. When it's interesting you say about challenges, because in 18 years, I have found the number one challenge for every Nepali has been the issue of money. So whether it comes to, as you have the popular word in Nepali, goose, or bribe, or things that are extortion. One of the things I've realized is, if I include in all of my workshops a little bit about money and money values, how to monetize your business, how to make money, how to manage money, how to multiply money, it helps a lot. Give you an example. I just 2 months ago went to Hetauda, met with 9 different NGO leaders, and again the same question from them as everywhere across Nepal: how do we fix the money thing? How do we fix the money issues? Most Nepalis is brain drained. They go abroad to work. And those who stay here struggle with making money, managing money, multiplying money. This is what I told them. I did an exercise. I said, what do you want? What do you want to see as your dream in the next 10 years for your NGO? They said, I want this. So I said, okay, come up. Who's going to share your dream? Person came up, he shared his dream. And I said, open your wallet. And I called and I said, anybody want to come and join him and share your dream? So another person came and shared his dream. Both of them were together. After he shared his dream, I said, now you pay him to fulfill his dream. Whatever money you have. So some people took out 500 rupees, some 1,000, some took out 200, some people took out a phone and gave it, a watch. I said, I want your dream to be fulfilled. And within about 45 minutes, everybody in the room had shared money with each other, or watches or phones. And I thought, that's sustainable development. We can look to the West for finances. Nothing wrong with that. You know, when somebody wants to give you something, you take it. You'll be a fool if you don't take it. But if you also look locally, Nepal is very, very rich. Just looking at the natural organic life that we have over here, you know, Nepal has so much of birds, so much of green vegetation that can be exported, water, electricity, hydropower. So the money is here. But that's the goal of my organization, my business, is helping people see. The word Tami means helping people see. You know, can you see for yourself how you can make money while living in Hetauda? So I think that's one of the challenges, but also I think I have the solution. You know, somebody said in English, it's the money honey. So I think money solutions.
You have been facilitating, you know, dozens of sessions.
Yes.
Both with the corporate and the non-governmental sectors here in Nepal.
That's right.
Do you see that these institutions, not as a particular institution, but institutions as a whole, are capable enough to, you know, collect resources ethically?
Yes. That's a very good question. And it's something that I've been struggling with for 18 years now. When you look at Hitler, he was a good leader. He was a good manager. But morally, ethically, when it came to transparency, accountability, he failed completely. And he took the whole of Germany down with him. They're still recovering right now. But one of the things I feel is these two concepts in Nepal that is detrimental to fundraising, to developing the country from a financial point of view. And that is two concepts in Nepal. It's called Afno Manche and Hamro Manche. Now these two concepts actually is like very sad, because it doesn't matter. Development doesn't matter.
That means my person,
my person,
and our person.
Yeah, our person. So it's like it doesn't matter if this person comes in and I don't know him. He's going to develop my business or my NGO or my corporate company. I'll get my own men in because he's my family members or somebody I know. Somebody asked me.
Which approach is dominant here in your experience, and how?
That is dominant.
That is contributing towards the sustainability of these institutions.
Yeah, that if that can be removed, it will bring sustainability. If we can have a meritocracy or a relationship-based model where people are allowed, based on their giftings, their abilities, to add value to an organization, rather than Afno Manche or my man coming in. He may not be as skilled as that person, but I gave him a chance because he's my friend, because he's my family. And that brings the organization down. If we remove that, I think Nepal can be like Singapore, the highest per capita income in the whole world.
What are your suggestions for removing that? Who are mostly responsible for exercising such, you know, I would like to say evil things?
Yes. I think that's a beautiful question, because I was wanting to share this, and you took the words out of my mouth. There's another concept called Tulo Manche. And what is Tulo Manche is basically what the top man says is right, even if it's wrong. What the top man says is black, even if it's white. They all go along with it. So I think we need a new generation of Nepalis who will stand up to, not tradition is good, culture is good, but traditionalism is, we never did it this way before, we'll never do it. And so they should challenge the status quo, challenge those people who are like, okay, because I'm Tulo Manche, I'm the big man, I'm the big boss, what I say goes. I think we need to challenge that without going into anarchy, because that's another weakness, you know, against leadership. but going to a place where you're saying, you know, I think let's try this new idea, even though you have this culturally ingrained for so many years, let's try this new idea. So I think that would bring a lot of development in organizations if the Thulo manches are challenged.
Well, Dr. Williams, you have written about half a dozen of books, one on my hand, my bank of 9 words, mostly on team building and communications.
Yes.
Would you share with us how the text you have been creating for a long time,
Right.
contributing towards, you know, team building,
Yes.
and good corporate and institutional culture?
Right. Yes, I have been writing these books since, I mean, in my own journaling since 1998. And finally, I've published them, but with a lot of case studies in Nepal. One of the things that I've found to be extremely important is that if you communicate wrongly, then you've lost almost 90% of the battle. Or if you do not understand the personality or the type of team person this other person is, you'll be talking Tokyo and he'll be thinking London. So we need to change that. And so I feel like communication and team building is the key to go forward. And I've seen that, that when crystal clear lines of communications are established between organizations, top level, middle level, you know, junior level managers, it solves almost 90% of the problems. I think most of the problems in organizations are miscommunication or unable to communicate because you're communicating from your point of view rather than the other person's personality. He receives information differently to you.
What are your suggestions for, you know, removing misunderstanding both in team building and communications?
That's a lovely question again. It's the other book that is not over here that is in the process of being edited right now. There are basically 4 different types of people, like there's north, west, east, south. As clear as that, there are 4 different types of people in this world. They are the lion personality, a person who is the dream maker, the pioneer. But then there is also the party person, the person who brings the ambience. He may not contribute much to the organization, but he brings the ambience. Third type of person is the team player, a player who never functions. He cannot do anything unless there's not a team working with him. And then the fourth is a corrective person who basically, he looks at things all the time negatively, but he actually is a person who invented the parachute, you know, that type of personality. He sees the problems and he comes up with a solution. So we have these 4 different types of people, and if we do not understand how they process information, then we'll have a lot of conflicts and we'll not resolve them. But if we know these 4 different types of personalities, we're able to put ourselves in their shoes. And
how
then
can these different personalities be balanced in an institution?
Yeah, so here comes, you know, every time I do a management training, I get the junior level managers, I get some senior level managers, and I get middle level managers. And most of the trainings are in these 5-star hotels all across Kathmandu. I would love to have the VP and other top level leaders of the organization come, because if they can cast a vision of saying like, hey, how many managers are a lion type of dreamer personality? How many is a team player? How many of them are ambience creators? How many of them are corrective personalities? Let's make an inventory and then give each one a platform. That is not possible when the Thulo manche doesn't come, the big man doesn't come to these trainings. So I'm working with middle level, I'm working with junior level, some senior level managers. I wish I could work with the VPs and, you know, do more consulting with them on a one-on-one basis. That will solve, you know, everything in an organization better. You know, sometimes as a VP or a top brass, you're like, I've learned it all, I know it all, I don't want to go to another training.
Institutions and the corporate companies are exposed to so many trainings and capacity building programs, both in communications and team building.
Right.
Do you think that the efforts that you have been sharing with these organizations have been fruitful? Do you have any measurement mechanism
Right.
that an institution has improved itself?
Right.
How can you check it?
Fantastic. Now, when you look at organizations, you have to not only look at results based on quantitative results, but you also need to look on qualitative results. What do I mean by that? Quantity is the bottom line, making profits. But quality is, are we going together? Because there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far as an organization, go together. So the quality is all about not just making a profit, but also building your people. So I'll give you an example again. Went to Surya, Nepal, in Simra. And there was basically a lot of problems happening from outside, political effects as well as inside. I don't want to go into the details, that's personal between me and the company. But one of the things that I found over there was nobody was listening to the middle level, junior level, and senior level managers. So what I did was, my training was actually, I went and sat down with every single manager. I spent a whole day meeting each of them and interviewing them, right till to the top. And then I presented them with a designed course that they could use. They didn't need me. These are the tools you need to succeed as an organization. And from all my experiences, I think that it's become very sustainable. It's become very good in Simra, from what the feedback I got back.
There is criticism that mostly companies, a corporate world,
Right.
they don't care about the consumers, aspects. How
Yes.
often do you share or tackle with the issues concerning consumers' rights or the audience perspective into these team building and communication facilitations?
Yes, that's a good question in the area of corporate companies that are not just selling products and services inland, but also are exporting. So when I answer, I'm answering for both. One of the areas that I have found is that most of these people, they have not had a product market fit because they haven't done a lot of surveys. Like, I'll give you an example. 7 guys, it's still ongoing right now. It's called a Money Makers Boot Camp. 7 people. Every day we're doing one thing, and these 7 people at the end of 7 days will have 7 tools. I have 2,560 management or leadership tools. I've done 7 with them. One of the things I've noticed about them is, like, when I told them, I said, hey, the first thing we're going to do, the second day, first day was setting the foundation. The second day was, hey, go and make your market research. So I said, I want you to be foot soldiers. Go to Kathmandu. And so 7 of them went and came back with 100 companies that they made. And they learned more just meeting them and asking them just one question. What makes a regular paying customer? That was the only question I asked them to ask. They came up with such feedback, and they were all glowing with their reports. I think that's the way to go ahead. Most companies need to go as foot soldiers on the ground and ask what's happening with the people. Of course, if you want to go abroad, you can't visit all the countries, but you can Google. I say most problems are solved by Google when it comes to exporting. So,
well, Dr. Williams, there are really many interesting issues, but we are coming to the end of the show. Do you have any final thoughts that could contribute towards better team building for both the corporate and the non-governmental sector here in Nepal?
Yes, I think one of the biggest things that myself personally, I don't know if you know the song, it's by Betty Midler. It's called The Wind Beneath My Wings. And as a non-Nepali, I feel my duty is to be the wind beneath the wings of Nepali corporate leaders and NGO leaders and managers. And how do I be the wind beneath their wings? Is to teach them not just, I call it T, have a cup of tea. So TEA, transparency, ethics, and accountability. So I want to see that happen, TEA. I want to have T with every leader and manager. Transparency, ethics, and accountability. If we have that, we'll have good leaders that will topple bad leaders like Hitler, who want to be the Tulo Manche and the be-all and the end-all in Nepal.
Well, Dr. Williams, it was really nice talking with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Dear audience, time now to wrap up the show. Keep watching us. See you next week. Namaste.